The spiritual community has lied to you about awakening. They show you the light but hide the darkness that comes with it. The depression, the isolation, the feeling like you're going crazy. It is all part of it. And if you are experiencing this right now, you're not alone. Today, I'm going to show you why this darkness isn't just normal, but it is necessary. And as someone who has gone through multiple dark nights of the soul, studied spirituality for 8 years, and spent hundreds of hours in meditation, I can tell you that what you're experiencing isn't a breakdown. It is a frequency shift. And before we begin, if you would like to work with me to support you through a dark night of the soul, you can easily attract your desired reality. Link is in the description. Now, first thing you need to understand is this. Spiritual awakening isn't just about light, but it's about seeing both sides of reality. What you're experiencing isn't a breakdown. It is a frequency shift. And here's why. The darkness is actually putting you in a position to control your reality. The reason is there are 3 specific dark phases that you need to know about. The death phase, the depression phase, and the rebirth phase. And if you are going through any of this right now, it's not because you're doing something wrong, it's because you were doing something right. You see, most people think awakening is about becoming more spiritual, but it's actually about becoming more real. And let's face it, sometimes reality isn't always pretty. I remember when I was going through this, I thought I was losing my mind. I heard 2 voices in my head. Just don't tell the psychiatric ward here in Australia. I was hearing my old frequency and my new one. But what I didn't realize was that I was actually losing my old frequency. And here's what you need to understand. Your old frequency is an entity. It is a living thing. And when you start to shift, oh my God, it will fight for its survival and to keep you where you are. And that's not some metaphor. An entity means a spiritual organism that feeds off of your emotional energy, just that it doesn't have a physical body or a vehicle. But anyway, let's get into the phases. First phase is the death phase, okay? Sounds crazy, but stay with me. The death phase isn't what you think it is. Remember in my previous videos where I said you can only have what you already have. Think about reality like a grocery store, okay? Your current frequency is nothing more than a barcode. Now to get a different product, you need a different barcode. But here's what nobody tells you about changing the barcode. Your old frequency has been with you for years, probably decades, okay? It's an entity that's been feeding off your emotional energy. And when you start to shift, it's going to do 2 things. One is it makes things or circumstances worse. And secondly, it wants to create emotional reactions from you. Negative emotional reactions. And during the death phase, you're going to experience disconnection from everyone. You're going to experience nothing making sense anymore. The things you were interested in start dying. Oh, and people start saying you've changed. But it's like when your phone, right? When your phone updates its software, what happens? Well, you can't connect to other devices. It literally has to disconnect to upgrade. You are in a spiritual upgrade. So relax. You're doing great. But nobody tells you about this phase. The loneliness you're feeling isn't because something's wrong. It's because you're starting to vibrate at a frequency that most people aren't vibrating to. And I remember when this happened to me, I thought to myself, man, I don't want to lose my friends and family. But that was my old frequency talking, that entity that was trying to keep me trapped. Remember, reality isn't a physical game. When you are in the death phase, your old frequency is literally dying. And here's why that's necessary. As it says in the Bible, seek ye first the kingdom of God. Okay? What that means is you must enter the desired frequency before anything else can manifest in your reality. So, how do you navigate this phase? Well, there are three things you need to understand. First, your old frequency wants an emotional reaction out of you. Why? Because emotion is the language of your subconscious mind, of your body. It is energy in motion. When you emotionally react, you are feeding the old frequency, the old self, especially when it's like frustration, guilt, resentment, whatever. Second, you need to maintain an elevated level of awareness when things start going wrong. When you feel disconnected, that's not random. That's your old frequency trying to trigger you. Okay? And third, you gotta understand exchange. Remember, you can't take a breath before giving one. It's the same with frequency. You can't receive your new frequency before giving up your old frequency. Okay? But here's where most people mess up. They try to hold on to both frequencies. You can't sit in two chairs at once. You can't sleep in two beds at once. And you cannot be two people at once. So, let's do something crazy. Below this video, I want you to make a firm declaration and write, I choose my desired frequency. Because until you make that choice, you're going to be trying to juggle both frequency, or you're going to try to hold on to both. Now, moving on to the next phase. This is what I call spiritual depression. And this isn't normal depression. Regular depression pulls you down. Spiritual depression pushes you up. And here's why. I remember sitting in my room, feeling like I was losing my mind. Everything I used to care about suddenly felt meaningless. But what I didn't realize at the time was this depression phase is what I call the gap, where you're in between frequencies. And this is where most people panic and run back to their old frequency. Why do they do that? Because the universe wants energetic equilibrium. Think about it like this. When you try to step out of your current frequency, the universe wants to bring you back to balance. The universe in its nature is effortless, and it wants balance. This phase happens for three specific reasons. First, reality is breaking down. Second is ego death. And three, you're purging your old frequency. And let me tell you something right now. If you're in this phase, you're not crazy. You're not broken. You're actually breaking through. And remember, manifestation is about feeling whole internally, where you feel good with or without what you want to desire. And this depression phase is forcing that shift. It's like when you're at the gym, right? And your muscles are burning. That pain isn't weakness. It is literally your strength being built. But try telling that to someone who has never worked out. Make sense? Because during this phase, there are three things happening. Your old beliefs are dying, your old identity is dissolving, and your old frequency is fighting back. Like a caterpillar in its cocoon. It is literally dissolving itself in that cocoon. That's what's happening to you right now. You are dissolving your old frequency. But here's where most people mess up. They try to fight it. They try to hold on to their old self, their old reality, their old friends, their old habits and patterns of behavior. And that is exactly what your old frequency wants. Remember, it's an entity. But how do you navigate from this? Well, let me tell you. First, you got to collapse importance. Okay? The more importance you give to your depression, the bigger the space you create between you and your desired frequency. Remember, importance creates space. Second, You maintain emotional conviction even when you don't see changes. You must maintain conviction in your desired reality. And this is not about positive thinking, it's about aligning your frequency to that desired reality. During this time, you must use your will that is greater than the emotions of your old frequency. I promise you, it'll get easier once you start embodying your new self. And my favorite? Stop being a nice person. Yeah, I said stop being nice. Because what society calls being nice is usually just conforming to your old frequency. Getting walked all over, playing small, you know what I mean? You see, we all signed what I call a social contract, agreeing to receive love in exchange for conformity. But that contract is in your old frequency, and it's time to break that. And you might be thinking though, oh come on, I don't want to be a bad person. Well, the universe doesn't care if you're nice, by the way. The universe is no respecter of persons. What do I mean by that? Remember, good people often have bad frequencies because they are too busy trying to please everyone else instead of aligning with their desired reality. Being a bad person simply means an individual with a great self-concept. They believe in themselves. They do what they want unapologetically. They stop being nice and stop getting walked all over. They stop shrinking themselves and stop with that imposter syndrome. They don't care about what other people think. They stop being a bitch. Think about it. Who creates and manifests the desired reality more easily? The person who waits for someone's approval, needs everyone's approval, or the person who is unapologetically themselves? Now, we're getting to the rebirth phase. And listen carefully, because this is where most people mess up. They try to rush this phase, and I did this before, because they are still operating from their old frequency that needs control. And I want to share what I only share with my clients. You can't rush frequency. You can only embody it. Because here's the thing about the rebirth phase. It's not about creating something new, but it is about becoming what you already are at a higher frequency. You can only have what you already have. So this phase isn't about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you really are. Every day, you are exchanging with the universe through 5 different things, okay? 5 different things. Through your belief, through your thoughts, through your attention, through your emotional conviction, and your identity. These 5 things make up your frequency. And here's the thing. You can't fool the universe. The universe only responds to your frequency, to your state of being. And during this rebirth phase, the universe will, I don't want to say test, but check you to see if you're in your desired frequency. Okay? First, things get worse. Or secondly, nothing changes, or both. That is how it checks you if you are in your desired frequency. And this is where your old frequency will try its hardest to pull you back. It will make things go wrong. It will make you doubt everything. But here's what you need to remember. When things get worse, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because your old frequency is desperate to keep you. It is dying in that moment. So how do you actually navigate this phase? Well, let me tell you. There are 3 keys. First, maintain neutrality. You need to maintain that internal state of your desired reality before you can manifest externally. Being neutral is a state of unconditional love. Because you're not judging things from a lens of good or bad. You're just seeing things for what it is. Next one is called collapse desperation. Listen carefully. The moment you become desperate for your desired reality, you create space between you and it. Remember, desperation gives the universe the ick. And finally, embody. Don't chase. Stop chasing your desired reality and start embodying it. The secret is maintaining consistency of the feelings of your new reality. Consistency. Here's what embodiment actually means. Well, it means living from your desired state. It means maintaining emotional conviction. You gotta feel powerful. And you gotta choose your new frequency in every moment, even if things are crumbling in your 3D reality. And if you are thinking, man, how long will this take? You're asking the wrong question. Because manifestation is instant. From the moment you put on that desired frequency until the moment you take it off. And reality doesn't care about your journey. It only cares about your frequency. And your frequency is determined by those 5 things that we exchange with the universe daily. Now, here's what you need to be careful of. Your old frequency will try 3 specific tricks. It's going to make you doubt the process, it's going to create urgency, and it's going to pull you back through guilt. So right now, I want you to make a decision. Are you choosing your current self or your desired self? Or your old self, sorry. Because you can't have both. And remember this, the darkness isn't your enemy. It is the womb where your new frequency is being born. The question is, are you ready to die to who you are, to become who you were meant to be? And if you are ready to fully step into your desired reality, to break free from your old frequency once and for all, I work with select individuals to help them do exactly that. Link is in the description. And yes, your family was right. You should have never started watching these spiritual videos because now you know too much to go back to your old frequency.